Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I have a ranked Skellige deck guide for you, and that is my Werewolf Hunters deck. And this deck is actually really fun to play. It's very kind of synergistic, but it's also really good when it does work. You know, I really actually enjoy playing this deck. I don't feel, you know, like scum playing this deck in the same way as maybe the Skellige or the Tempo Nilfgaard. This is a deck I just really enjoy playing. So the way this deck kind of works is we have our Crack and Crate leader, spawn Crack and Crate, which plays him, and then play the highest loyal unit in your deck, strengthen it by 3, then damage it by 1. And the highest loyal unit, because Ulrich is a disloyal unit in our deck, is Morkvarg. Morkvarg, whenever this unit is discarded or destroyed, resurrect it and weaken it by 3. So you play Morkvarg, and if it gets destroyed, it actually gets resurrected but loses 3 strength. That's kind of the gist of the way Morkvarg works. But what we can do with Morkvarg is we can set it up so on the left-hand side of Morkvarg, we have a Light Longship, turn start, damage the unit to the right by 1, then strengthen itself by 2. So every turn, the Longship will damage Morkvarg by 1 and gain 2 strength. So it's a net gain of 1 strength. 1 strength. No, I just have to do some very basic math. What is 2 minus 1? And then, but on the other side, we then have the Clan Brokvar Hunter. I tried to say Archer and Hunter at the same time there and got Harcher. I don't even know what's wrong with me today. Anyway, he, veteran, strengthens himself by 1, so each round he gains 1 strength, but also he strengthens himself by 1 whenever an adjacent unit is damaged. So if you then put the Hunter on the other side of Morkvarg, then what happens is the boat hits Morkvarg, Morkvarg gets hurt by 1, the boat gains 2 strength, and the Brokvar Hunter gains 1 strength. So you're actually gaining 2 strength every round just from having these cards next to each other. And the thing is, when Morkvarg dies, it's fine because then he gets resurrected. So then, you know, you have options to carry him into the next round and continue the strategy. Now, Light Longship is regressing. What that means is that when it goes to the graveyard, it loses all the strength that it gained. But Brokvar Hunter isn't, which means that then on later rounds, you can resurrect the Brokvar Hunter that's gained all this strength through this damage strategy. And that's kind of the basis of this Werewolf Hunters deck. And you've also got then Olgierd in hand. He is a neutral card that does basically the same thing as Morkvarg. So then, you know, if you, after you've played Morkvarg, eventually you lose him, you can set up a second chain with Olgierd, because, you know, you have multiple Longships and multiple Brokvar Hunters. And then we have our resurrects, obviously, which we can use to bring these cards back from the graveyard to repeat this tactic for multiple rounds in the Priestess of Freya. So that's the kind of bread and butter of this deck. Now, in terms of gold cards, we've got Ciri. Ciri I really like. You play her. And at the end of the round, if you lose the round, you get her back into your hand. So she's a way to help control card advantage. And basically, I think in ranked at the moment, you really need to be running, you know, at least a couple cards that you can use for card advantage. Otherwise, I think you're going to have a harder time because it's very important. It means going into later rounds, you can play more cards than your opponent. So then even if they kind of match your tempo, you'll be okay. We have Wild Boar of the Sea, turn start, strengthen the unit to the left by 1 and damage the unit to the right by 1. So this is like an alternate if you don't draw your, you know, Light Longship. It's okay because you got this big ass boat instead, which does a similar thing. It, you know, damages the unit on the right, which would be the Morkvarg or the Olgierd, buffing the Hunters. And then you can then play another unit on its left, which then gets buffed. So there's basically a strategy that does the same thing with Wild Boar of the Sea. We have Yennefer the Conjurer, turn start, damage the highest enemy/enemies by 1. And I like this because dealing damage to your opponent, I think, in this deck is really useful. And the reason I feel like that is because if your units are weak, or the enemy units are weakened, then you can use Clan Drum and Shield Maiden. And this unit, damage a unit by 2. If it was already damaged, summon another Clan Drum and Shield Maiden. So you can use cards like Yennefer to start damaging your opponent and whittling off their health. And then you can use the Clan Drum and Shield Maidens that you've got to then, you know, thin your deck with these and get points on the board, whilst also, you know, dealing damage to your opponent, which I like. And the thing is, because you want rounds to go on quite long, Yennefer's nice to have in the deck, because you typically do get quite a lot of value out of her. Last but not least, we have Geralt Igni, destroy the highest unit or units on the opposite row if that row totals 20 or more power. So this is used to, you know, kill big cards if your opponent stacks their rows, which a lot of decks kind of do. Then, in terms of the rest of our silvers, we have Ulrich. Deploy, draw 2 cards from your deck, including golds, keep 1 and discard the other. So we can use this to gain card advantage, again, in a round where our opponent maybe is playing well. A round we intend to lose, basically. We'll give them 12 points, but in giving them 12 points, we are then gaining a card. So you play a card, you draw a card, there's no net loss. Then we have Skellige Storm. Skellige Storm, apply Skellige Storm to a row. Turn start, damage the units at the end of the row. End of the row means far right. So the unit at the far right gets hit by 3, the one next to that gets hit by 2, and the one next to that gets hit by 1. So this is potentially 6 damage on a row every turn. It's, you know, really quite useful. The way people counter this is they place gold cards at the end of the row and basically put a little gold card on the tip so that then that card is taking the 3, but because it's gold, it doesn't get affected. So that's one of the counters to Skellige Storm. Fortunately, we do have Dimmeritium Shackles, which we can use to demote gold units and also lock them. So we can actually use the shackles to stop some gold cards should we wish to. Now, our other 2 silvers, we have Sigurdrifa. I never have to say this, Sigdrifa. I always say Sigdrifa, but there's an R in there. Sigurdrifa. I don't know. But Sigdrifa also resurrects a unit from your graveyard, so we can use this for resurrection strategies. And then we have Gremist. Deploy, spawn, fog, blood-curdling roar, or clear skies. So fog just applies fog. Clear skies is good for anti-weather. And blood-curdling roar, you destroy an ally and you spawn a bear. So this turns a weak unit into a 12-strength bear. And bear in mind, we have these 1-strength units, so we can always turn a Priestess of Freya then into a bear with Gremist if we don't feel like we need our clear skies. And also you can actually use it to counter stuff like Rot Tosser from Nilfgaard, because if they throw a cow carcass across, you can actually turn the cow carcass into a bear. So that's one of the ways to counter it. Last but not least, we do have our 2 first lights here just to counter weather strategies. Clear skies will trigger all weather on your side, then clear all weather from your side, so you can use it to remove weather. And rally, if we don't choose to clear weather, we'll pull a bronze unit from our deck. So we can use that to really help us make sure we find the boats and Brokvar Hunters that we need for our deck and for those kind of synergies. Anyway, guys, that's more or less it for the deck. You know, you can swap out more or less any of the gold cards. None of them are key cards to this deck. I know some people like to run Ragnarug for this deck. You know, you could run Ermion, the starter one, to help you find your boats and hunters should you wish. There are definitely a bunch of different cards that you can run in this deck. In terms of the silvers, you know, again, it's kind of, some of them are more flexible than others. I do think Morkvarg is really important in this deck because the fact that he resurrects is really nice. But beyond that, you know, it's a bit more personal preference. Again, Sigdrifa also for the resurrect, I think she's really good. But you could run, you know, Rach if you wanted to. You could run Donar and Hinder for locking. You could run Holger Blackhand for removal. Like, there's lots of different kind of options in terms of the silver cards. But the premise of this deck, like I say, is the boats and the hunters. And if you do like this deck, maybe hit that thumbs up button. Anyway, let's jump into a game and I'll showcase this deck in action for you.
For Skellige's glory! You've got the heart of an uncrate.
Okay, so we have a Skellige mirror here, and Kraken Crate typically does mean hunters and boats, and we have all of our boats here. We have 2 clear skies, but Skellige's not likely to play more than 1 weather, so I feel quite comfortable mulliganing one of these. And we're trying to find our hunters there. We could mulligan Morkvarg, because we can, you know, play him with Gremist. I'm going to mulligan my boat first and see what we draw. Wild Boar of the Sea. We're not getting any hunters. This does happen sometimes. I'm going to mulligan Morkvarg, because we draw him anyway. And there's a hunter, which is what we were looking for. So now we can actually set up our combo, which is really nice. So in terms of how I want to play this, I think what we'll start by doing is just popping out our Kraken Crate. And I'm actually going to put him on the end here. Again, just in case they play Skellige Storm. And then put Morkvarg here. Now this is a risk because we're stacking the row, which means, like, in terms of Igni, he definitely could be running that. But all in all, I feel like this is a, you know, a fine choice for us. You could play Kraken Crate on a different row, and that's okay as well. But sometimes it's good just to peg the row so that when, or if they play Skellige Storm, you're prepared.
For Skellige's glory!
So here we find out if it's a mirror, and it kind of looks like it might just be, you guys. It might just be a mirror. So what I'm going to do next is I'll pop my boat in place on the left of Morkvarg. As you can see there, you know, just comfortably in place. And we'll see what he does if he goes for the boat or the... Oh, he's going for a gold card. What's he going for? Wild Boar of the Sea. So this is a strategy some people use. You know, it's a similar strategy. It's one I mentioned you can do. But actually what we're going to do is put our hunter down. And we're actually going to shoot his Morkvarg. And by damaging his Morkvarg, it also means that it's going to die sooner. Although it's getting buffed up actually by the Wild Boar of the Sea. It is strengthening the Morkvarg. So this is a different strategy, I guess. His strategy is to strengthen the Morkvarg with the boat and have the round go on. And as the round goes on, the Morkvarg is stronger. And then it'll get pulled out of the graveyard. So that seems to be what he's going for here. So there's a Scorch, and that's really unfortunate for us because it actually puts Morkvarg out of position in terms of our little buffing strategy. So now, like, the boat is hitting the Brokvar Archer, and this is where cards like, you know, Decoy can come into effect and be quite useful. We can't really resurrect anything, so I think what we'll do at this stage is just pass. If he wants to win the round, he's going to have to go for card disadvantage, which I think is good for us. he's gaining 1 strength each round. We're damaging our hunter, weakening it, but gaining 2 strength. So we're gaining 1 strength each round. So we're currently, what, 6 ahead, but we're actually 7. So he's going to need to play at least an 8 to take the round. And we'll see what he does here. The one thing I'm hoping is that he's not running bears, because bears are so annoying in this deck. Because what the bears do is... see, he didn't play enough points. What the bears do is they kill your Priestesses of Freya, which make it really hard to resurrect anything. So that's one of the cards that are really annoying against this deck, unfortunately. But we do have stuff like Skellige, Storm, which we can use to try and kill them, for example. So he's going 2-card disadvantage. I guess he didn't do the maths there. On the flip side, you know, his Morkvarg is getting quite heavily buffed, so it's going to have quite a lot of base strength, which is annoying, but, you know, not the end of the world. And there's the pass. We've got 2-card advantage, so like I say, I'm not too worried about this play, all things told. It's not the end of the world. But you can see that, like, if they disrupt your setup, it can be very annoying. And that is one of the things to kind of be aware of in this matchup. So we got double First Light and a Shield Maiden. Shield Maiden is nice. I'm just a little bit worried if I mulligan that I'll get a second one. But I don't think we need both of these First Lights. I think that is a Shield Maiden. Oh, I hate this screen. Oh, look, it was a Shield Maiden. Okay, so we'll play those last round then. Plan here, plan of action is play Light Longship. I mean, I guess what we could do is we could play Light Longship, then play the boat. So he basically wants a really big Morkvarg. So what we're going to do, play Light Longship, resurrect a Brokvar Hunter, and then play the boat on the other side of the Hunter. And that way our Hunter's going to get really big, because he's going to get strengthened by 2 every round. So that should kind of counter this strategy from our opponent. It's a really interesting strategy, though. He's just really relying on Wild Boar of the Sea. But that's a risky strategy, I think, because ultimately, Wild Boar of the Sea, if you don't draw it, you know, you're going to have a harder time. And this guy has drawn well. He's had his Renew and his Wild Boar of the Sea. And, you know, that's probably been good for him. But where's he going to put this Hunter? I guess he could put it on the right and then slot something in between. And that's maybe what he's going to go for.
What is it?
He's trying to kill my boat. People are so rude. So rude. So then we can play our Resurrect.
We serve her who is
pull the Hunter.
Mother and
we'll pop
crone.
that out. And we will shoot. So I'm not really worried about this because, I mean, if he gets it buffed up, hopefully we can draw Igni and kind of deal with that. I'm a little bit worried about it because he's going to have it on the next round. But I'm not worried about it this round.
No rest, no reprieve.
Oh, he's going to kill my boat. He's going to kill my boat.
No!
And then he's going to hit Morkvarg. Oh no, he didn't. He hit the Brokvar Hunter. We can resurrect a second boat, and that's like not really a problem. We do have Sigdriff as well. So let's just do that.
We serve her who is virgin mother.
Bring
and
back the boat
crone.
and continue this this chain of events, I guess. The worry is that, you know, if Morkvarg dies, we've only got 4 more hits in there. Oh, he's gone for Ulderic. So Ulderic is going to start getting hit here. Well, he's not going to get hit, sorry, because of Wild Boar of the Sea. Unless we put this in here. So this is going to start buffing Morkvarg and then damaging Ulderic, basically. And that's what we're going to see happen with the boat here. And that's going to then strengthen the Brokvar Hunter. So this guy's got to be a little bit careful that he doesn't let this round go on too long. Because I think if he does, he's going to have a really hard time with it. Our problem is that we obviously don't really want to play our Drum and Shield Maidens. And I'm a little bit loath to play Rally, because if I play Rally and I pull a Shield Maiden, that's going to be really annoying. Potentially what we do then is we play Gremist and pull out the Blood Curdling Roar and go for the bear. That is, you know, a fine strategy as well. So he's getting 1 strength each round. Jesus Christ, we are gaining quite a few. 36. So I only need to play 1 more card here, and that should win me the round. And I think we should go for the bear, because then we have an option of resurrecting a bear, which I think is a nice choice. So let's do this. He doesn't know that I have a Clear Skies in hand.
Again.
So let's go for the Blood Curdling Roar. Onto the Priestess of Freya. Turns her into a bear. And then we can place the bear, you know, wherever we like. We'll put it down here. And we're both on 5 cards now, so going into the last round. He does have a 17 strength Morkvarg, though, and that is, you know, quite worrisome to me. Normally it would be nice if the Hunter, you know, had an opportunity to gain more strength. I don't know exactly how much strength he is on, because it is, like I say, sometimes there's this bug where you can't see. But we do have Sigdriffer. We can, you know, resurrect him back up. And that's definitely an option. Our Morkvarg is going to come back out as well, which is nice. And he's weakened, which means we can chain the Shield Maidens off him. And actually, we've got resurrects for both of the cards that we need, which is really cool. So let's mulligan this Shield Maiden and see what we get. I have no idea what we drew. We drew a boat. Oh, well that works. So what have we got in here? How much strength did it have? We have a 12 strength bear. And we have a 9 strength hunter. So actually, if he kills Morkvarg, it's fine, because we can then set up the same situation with the hunter. I think what we'll do is we'll open with Skellige Storm on this row, and we'll just start to, you know, deal some damage. We know this is the row that he wants to stack, so if we can do that, it's nice. If he has Clear Skies, he has Clear Skies. But that's kind of the whole point of Skellige Storm, is that they don't have First Light for Clear Skies, then, you know, they take a lot of damage, so that's really good. And the earlier we play Weather, the more damage we'll get through the round. He doesn't have Clear Skies, because I feel like he would have done it by now. And now you can see he's trying to set up a strategy in a different round. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop down our boat here to start hitting Morkvarg. We can use our Priestess of Freya to resurrect our Hunter. And then we can actually also resurrect this bear for when the Morkvarg dies out and then spawn somewhere else, which is nice. And now that this Morkvarg is getting damaged, we can actually chain out our Clan Drum and Shield Maidens as well off of that, which is a really good play. So I think we're in a nice situation here, even though, you know, we really didn't see a lot of gold cards this game. We just saw the one. But all in all, I don't think it's cost us too heavily. Come on. I think he knows. He doesn't have an easy out, whereas, you know, we know what we're doing.
Freya watch us and keep us.
And you can see his deck
is
really reliant on the boat, and that's why he's running, you know, Renew and Royal Decree, because he really needs the boat for the deck to work. So we'll play this.
Before modern Freya.
We'll pull out our Hunter, like so. And I'm going to shoot Sigdrifa so that he doesn't resurrect her, I believe. That is a good plan, I think. Like, I don't want to shoot the boat because that's going to buff the Brokvar Hunter. But you can see we are getting our boat synergy going on here, which is really nice. And then what we can look to do is actually we can actually kill the Hunter with our Shield Maidens. Right, so here's the question. We would take 3 damage if we don't Clear Skies now, but if we don't Clear Skies now, we can't kill the Hunter. But honestly, I think we just Clear Skies. I think we do it. Get rid of the Weather on my side anyway. Because it's just going to do too much damage over the course of the next couple tickets. I mean, you can see what this rain has done. And they've turned him into a bear. He's going to place him somewhere different. You can actually do the bear on Morkvarg and it doesn't kill him, which is, I think, quite funny. But it is what it is. What we're going to do here.
Give them no rest.
We'll shoot him.
No!
Shoot him. And shoot him. And we'll just kill him. Then this boat isn't really strengthening either. 32 versus 33. This is a close one. I've got 15 points from Sigdrifa. Plus 2 from this. I've got 17 points in hand. So it depends what his 2 cards are. And his Morkvarg is going to be getting weakened every time by the Skellige Storm. So it's interesting. He doesn't have any gold cards. He's played all 4 of his. And bear in mind, I've only played 1 gold card this game, you know. So you would expect him to have the advantage, but it really hasn't worked out that way. And the worst part is he had Clear Skies all along and just chose not to play it, which I think is very interesting. Okay, so he's got a bear too. That's a lot of points. I said he needed like 17 or so. Morkvarg is back, so we'll play this into our... We could resurrect Gremist. One sec, what have we got? Yeah, let's do that, right? Because that's an extra 3 points. So we resurrect Gremist.
That is your brilliant move.
Into a Blood-Curdling Roar on the 1 strength Morkvarg. Pop the bear in between and continue the chain. And this is nice for us, I think. Because the thing is, he's gaining strength, yes, on the bear, but then his Morkvarg is losing strength.
Get yourself an axe.
So it's not really working out. We're going to gain strength here. He's going to get damaged by the Skellige Storm, and both of these cards are going to get damaged. So I think, hey, the victory is ours. So, you know, I like that strategy. His strategy is maybe more consistent because you can more or less guarantee the boat with those 3 gold cards. You can definitely find it, and you can bring it back twice. But, you know, you can kind of see the idea behind the deck, and you can kind of run whichever strategy you like. I think maybe the Renew strategy is better for newer players because you already have Royal Decree, for example. But anyway, I'm going to jump into another game, and I'll showcase this deck in action once more.
The gate must be secure.
Okay, so Unseen Elder means consume monsters, which is an interesting strategy. Shackles is actually going to be really nice here for when he plays his leader ability. We can actually lock it, and then that makes it targetable. But we don't have anything to reset it, I don't think. So, you know, that's just something to be aware of. I'm still going to keep one First Light. We've got a couple boats, Grimace, Sigdrifer, Wild Boar of the Sea, and Ciri. I think I'm tempted to get rid of the Clan Drum and Shield Maiden for the time being and look for... We don't need Morkvarg. I was going to say look for a Hunter. There, we've got one there. We don't have... Oh, no, we've got one Resurrect. I was going to say we don't have any Priestess of Freya. I think we'll mulligan one of the boats. This is risky, but then we can... I was going to say, if we get a Resurrect, we can bring back whatever we need, which is nice. Okay, so I think what we'll do for this round is we'll pop this bad boy out. And we'll pop Morkvarg out, like so. So that's him set up. And then we can look to do the Hunter strategy and the Longship strategy for this round. And you can kind of do it on any round, like kind of... Basically see what your opponent is playing and decide from that, basically. This guy's going Neckers, so he's going to probably end up duplicating a bunch of Neckers. What we actually can do here, then, is just kill it.
What is it?
Basically, if we kill this Necker, it'll pull another one out of his deck. But the more Neckers that we can thin from his deck early on, the better. And Skellige Storm's going to be really nice for that as well. So we've got our Hunter in place. We'll pop our boat down in place. And actually, what we could do is play Wild Boar of the Sea on the left of this Hunter, so then he's getting, you know, double buffed every round. That is definitely a strategy that you can implement here. And it's got, you know, a lot of potential. What's he going to do? So he's maybe contemplating using his leader ability. Unseen Elder, he consumes 3 allies, but instead of boosting, he strengthens. So he's going to gain strength for everything that he eats. You know, he's probably looking to potentially eat something like these harpy eggs and gain strength from that. I think what we're going to do here, because we want to resurrect this Hunter, is actually play our Wild Boar of the Sea on the end, like so. And then this guy's going to be getting, you know, really buffed up, which is going to be really nice for us. We do have our Gremist as well, so, you know, if Morkvarg is out of place, we can put that bear in place, and that's another kind of nice strategy that we have. What we could do here is actually lock the Ran Warrior, and you can see that this is the kind of consume chaining that's going to start to happen, and it's definitely something that the opponent wants to trigger. But what we can do is we'll pop Skellige Storm out on this middle row, and... you know, he's going to keep eating things, but we're also whistling away damage here. If he's got clear skies, he's got clear skies. Okay, the Ciri is interesting. I think I'm going to pass here. If he wants the round, he'd have to give up his Ciri and play another card, but if I play another card, he gets 2-card advantage, which isn't very convenient. I mean, the thing to be aware of is that Ran Warrior is going to eat this unit, gaining 3 strength. This is going to summon another 3. Does he have to play another card then? But I'm going to gain 2 strength, so I'm going to be on 40, and he's going to be on... Yeah, you have to play another card. I think we can just pass here. Because I think what happens, this will eat that, but then Skellige Storm will trigger, and then my units will get buffed if he plays another card. So I'll gain 3 strength, so I'll be on 41. So he needs to play at least 6 strength here. Nope, 7 strength. He needs to play at least 7 strength here. That, I guess, works. Okay, he's keeping 16 strength going into the next round. That is not fun for us. I mean, I guess the other response we could have done is played our Ciri, but then I think... Oh, no, we're still ahead! The math didn't work out. Oh, the math didn't work out. So he gets Ciri back, but he keeps an Ekamara. And if you look in our graveyard now, we have a 12 strength Brokvar Hunter. Do we have another boat? We don't have another boat. We've got Ulderic. We can play him this round and draw a card. I think I'm going to mulligan the Shield Maiden again. There's a boat. My turn. Okay. So let's resurrect this 13 strength Hunter. And we're going to do that early just in case he caretakers me and takes it from me. You know, I don't really want that to happen. So we're going to do that. We'll just shoot his Ekamara. They're both on 13, which means if he scorches, he's going to scorch himself. But it does mean we're going to kind of end up ahead. And this round, we're quite comfortable to just play our strategy out and see how it goes. And just get this guy buffed up. And then we've got, you know, Ulderic and Ciri we can use for card advantage. So we'll play out our boat here. We've still got a lock should we need to lock anything. You know, and that's an option too. We could play Clear Skies to rally, but honestly, I feel like maybe we play Gremist and pull a... We could hit the Priestess of Freya, but for the time being, we'll play Ciri. We'll pop her on the end of the row. And she's just acting as a cap in case anything happens on that row in terms of Skellige Storm. I feel like Skellige Storm is, like, underrated. Okay, so this is the consume chain that he wants to go for. So I think what we'll do, we'll just lock this bad boy. None of that, my dear, none of that. There's Commander's Horn. And we're just letting, you know, points rack up here. We're letting points rack up. We'll play Ulderic.
Gods won't be pleased.
And we'll keep Igni. The fact that we can kill, you know, one of his big units, I think what he'll want to do at the end of the round is Ekamara. And because he wants to Ekamara, what we can then do is burn it. I'm guessing Unicorn, because he's got more units than I do. And the thing is, can we catch him? We're 40 points behind. This is worth... Oh, these aren't quite on the same amount of strength. If these guys had the same strength, it would be better. Impenetrable Fog, Blood-Curdling Roar, or Clear Skies. Unless we go for the Blood-Curdling Roar now, this will trade these 3 points into a 12. I don't think this is a bad strategy. Let's do this.
Gods, not a moment's patience.
And this is going to put pressure on our opponents, basically, which we want to happen. We want our opponent here to feel pressured. We're going to get Ciri back going into the final round, and I want to be able to react to the Ekamara if he does play it. So Unseen Elder's going to eat everything, and this triggers consume effects. But the problem for our opponent is that he can't pass. He can't pass until we pass, is the thing. And we can resurrect this crazy strong Clan Brokvar Hunter every round. So I'm actually okay just, you know, continuing to play cards. I think we can go for the Igni this round. We could hold on to it for the next round, but he can only eat an 11, and that's not going to be enough to Igni. So let's pop that out on this row. Take out the Ran Warrior, and then we'll see what he plays. If he's got an Ekamara, you know, he can carry points into the next round, and that's going to be annoying. But it honestly depends on what this last card is. I think I can draw the last card out of him. Let me think. What is this going to give me? This is going to give me a few points. What can I resurrect? I'm just trying to work it out whether I've got the points I need. I think we just pass, actually. I don't want to play this card and try and bait the last card. You know, I was going to try and bait the last card, but actually I think that we're better off not. We're better off, you know, just passing and going into the next round on 2-card advantage. So then the question becomes, do we need Weathercliff? 3-card advantage, actually. I always forget about Ciri. And we keep Morkvarg as Olgierd. Olgierd's not bad. I think we mulligan the first light here. I think we mulligan it, see what we get. Priestess of Prayer, that's really nice. We can actually set up the buffing combo again. Crones are annoying, but not the end of the world. So we'll take this 20 strength Brokvar Hunter and plonk it down on the right here.
What is it?
And we'll shoot her. Now, if he removes it, it's fine because we can resurrect it again with Sigdrifa. So I think we want to kill this, right? Gravehag's going to eat everything in his graveyard. He's got a lot of cards in his graveyard. Fortunately for us, you know, we have a Brokvar Hunter in our graveyard. So we'll just kill you. None of that. None of that. And you can see we're ahead. We don't even need to play these last 2 cards in our hand. And that's game. And that is the Skellige deck. And for those of you curious about how this shapes up against John Calvé, I've beaten the John Calvé tempo deck with this deck. It's a little bit trickier to navigate. You know, obviously it's not as consistent. You do need to be able to set up those combos, but you can see just how regularly we did manage to set them up with the deck. There's enough kind of card cycling and resurrect in this deck that you should be able to set the combo up very regularly. And if you want to do a different strategy, you saw in game 1 a different strategy that you can use with Skellige, which is the Wild Boar of the Sea resurrect strategy. But having that hunter then get, you know, constantly buffs, we can then pull him out of our deck at the final round and gain, you know, huge strength with him. And we didn't even need our Olgierd or our Ciri in the end. Anyway, guys, that's kind of it from me. If you like this deck, then hit that thumbs up button. You can always follow me on Twitter at Jaggerous and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, if I misplayed, if there's anything, you know, you want me to do, any deck guides you want to see. Again, let me know in the comments below. Beyond that, have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will catch you guys in the next video. Maybe subscribe. Bye.